A pleasant good morning to one and all. It's Marvelous Monday. It's the 20th day of February. And you're listening to Win FM Voices 98.9 on the FM dial. My name is Socrates. I'll be hosting today's episode of Voices. I want to wish everyone a wonderful Monday morning. And we'll get back to the program after a few kind words from our sponsors. Thank you.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Pump it up with Quicks. One pump and you're pumping. Dishes done, you're smiling. Pump it up with Quicks. Keep pumping. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up with Quicks. I don't want a dirty sink. Keep pumping up with Quicks now. Clean that sink. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up with Quicks. Pump it up.
Decided what to eat yet, hon?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to Flow.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
To our viewers and our listeners, welcome back to Voices. My name is Socrates. Sitting today, I'm the hot chair. We don't have a topic. Our normal topic have got open, so that means the phone lines are open immediately for anyone who want to call and introduce a topic or issue, anything you want to discuss, as long as we can keep it civil. And as to the national debate, I want to start by saying good morning to Rosemary Donald up there in New York. She just tuned in. Amber over there in Anguilla. We got Brenda in Charlotte. We got Jennifer in Atlanta. We got the local folk. I met a young man this morning, I must tell you. I met a very presentable young man this morning. He passed by and he didn't give me his name. But by the voice, I can tell it's the first time that I would have met Johnny. Pleasant looking young man. And I said, oh, morning, okay, And, we recognize each other's voices, so nice to have met you, sir. And I know I'm going to hear from you today. So to Africa, to Sister Henry, to all the folks who call and make the contribution. I just had a name on the tip of my tongue, the gentleman who used to work at the college. I'm going to get it because I don't want him to feel that I left him out on purpose. But all the guys who make this program possible, I want to thank you one and all. Miss Pamela Wall is a person who's normally tuned. She doesn't call. But all the folks, and it's not a beautiful Monday. I was downtown a while ago and everyone was saying, look at St. Kitts. We don't have anybody training bombs or this and that and that. And, we live in a very wonderful place and we have to appreciate it. Bunny up there in the USA. New York Joe, Avril, Dr. Sweeney, as I'm saying, all the folks. As it comes to my mind, I'm going to call your name. So don't feel that I would have left you out. The morning is still young. Okay, we go to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Good morning.
I said good morning to your show a while ago. Welcome to the program. How was your weekend?
Oh man, God, I would like to give. Let me try to turn this radio off. Right. Good morning to everyone at home and abroad. Man, I have a lot to give God thanks for my life.
Definitely.
Every time I turn on here, somebody dead, somebody dead, somebody killed somebody.
Circle of life.
You know? Now, yesterday, after I done do my worship, I put on PBS. Do you listen to PBS?
Used to.
They were doing, I think, on African. Have you ever heard of Henry Louis Gates Jr.?
Yes. Yes.
Right. They were playing a lot of his work and so, you know. And it was very interesting. And I want to encourage people to check it out. He has books, and he did a whole series on African American, Many Rivers to Cross. I think that's the name of the book, and that was the name of the thing he did yesterday. Then he was talking about the origin of slavery and African civilization. He's a professor at Harvard.
I know of him.
Well, I want other people to know.
Yes.
But tell us what you know about him.
Well, apart from the work he does, he was arrested by some cops in Boston for trying to end his own home.
Oh, that's the same man?
Yes. Arrested for trying to go into his own house.
It.
Yeah.
Because they think he was nothing enough to live in such a house, in
Correct.
such a location.
And Obama had to get involved. He made a comment about the police and how they handle it. And, people say he shouldn't have stepped into that because, but there was a black man, a prominent, distinguished gentleman trying to enter his own home and was arrested by the police for that. So
right.
I know of his work.
For those of you who don't know about him, you can go on YouTube. He also he track the genes to your race in Africa.
Yes.
I wish something like that could be done down here. Suppose, I don't know if it can be done, if you could ship your sample or whatever.
The interest must be there. It
Well,
can be done.
Sometimes people hear about things abroad and say, oh, well, it doesn't, we here can't get access to it. But sometimes that's not so.
That's your anger.
This thing about talking to your relatives. A lot of us like to dismiss all people. Oh, they'll get old story. Mind you say, Lord, everybody in you is family. Everybody in you could be family, My family is broad,
We're told in going
sometimes, what you're saying?
We were told this is your cousin, that's your cousin. You don't really, you just take it for granted. But there are lineages that actually are factual.
But we don't pursue it.
No, we don't.
I was so glad my mother used to talk. Some of my siblings say, oh, they never hear that yet. I said, well, if you used to give her a chance to talk,
And
you would have
engage
heard
her.
what she told me.
And encourage her.
Yes, because, my mother had if she had the opportunities I had, she would have gone UE, Howard, everywhere. But, in her days, they never had the opportunity.
Even in the 40s
No,
here.
so.
Even in
No.
40s, it was, go ahead, I'll bring this up after.
Yes, now let's go to Haiti, because all of us are consumed with
Crochet with,
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
You heard that the factory workers, the garment workers in Haiti, stage a strike.
No, I'm
Or
unaware
protest?
of that. I'm unaware of that.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
No.
Check it out. And they say, I think police must open fire on them or something like that.
Wow.
Because they're saying the $1.70 that they're getting is not enough.
Are they going to $1.70
imagine
now?
in this day and age,
It used to be a US dollar per day. But it's now gone to
that's
$1.70.
No, they got Apple. I don't even...
And these are foreign-owned corporations, eh?
Hello, not only that, what they were saying in the news that they in Haiti produce some of the top name brands for Canada and the USA. And you would think that by now somebody would do something about it. But then again, the hypocrisy shows up because when I heard about Ukraine and all of the other countries
Everybody focuses there.
want to go in against Russia, They all alike. Each one of them would have occupied somebody else's country, you know.
Of course.
I mean, the U.S. of all people.
That's
US
what
is
that's what
pushing.
emboldened Putin, because they've done it in other countries.
Yeah, that is why the man just ignore them. Say, well, all of us in what did I say? He can't. Man, I mean, go. They can't hold a candle to him. What go?
Mr. McMahon, good morning. Hope
What-
you got a
what-
contribution from you today.
What Timothy said, they can't hold a candle to him.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Putin must be here.
I understand the phrase as a candle of correction.
Right. So none of them could hold any. Every one of them who did not go into Africa, don't talk about America, all across the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And they now have people in Haiti working for wages that they can't even live on. You know? So for my good friend Greg loves to talk about capitalism.
Good morning,
It is good
Greg.
to a certain extent, you know. But the exploitation of the poor is just a little too much. All right then. Good morning,
Thank you.
Journey.
Yes, good morning.
Tell Journey, check out the Haitians.
Yeah, well, he definitely is attuned to stuff like that globally.
Oh, you
So,
said
yeah.
you met him?
This morning, actually, I was leaving the bank, and he, in a starch white shirt, he just walked by and said, "How are you?" And we laughed because I recognized his voice.
Oh, yes, his voice. His voice is unique.
Yes, very distinguished, and that was the first time I would have met him. You know, he didn't say, well, Socrates, this is Johnny. It was enough for him to speak,
Yes,
and I
yes.
recognized his voice, and, you know, of course, he knows mine, so it's the first time I
Right,
met
so
him.
to him and Africa, they got to get their genes checked, man. And let us hear what tribe they come from.
I just left
And
Africa in the
the doctor
circus.
stressed, look, nobody out here come from Zulu.
Really? We can
Yeah?
trace back. Nobody come from Zulu.
No. So nobody in the Caribbean, none of the slaves then come from South Africa.
No, I won't buy
He
that.
gave a number of countries, but he said not South Africa. So all who trying
That's
to
Dr.
be Zulu,
Henry Louis
they're not
Gates.
Zulu. Huh?
Dr. Henry Louis Gates.
Yes.
But I know of a story. Have you read Sonny Jim from Sandy Point? By
Which one?
Sonny Jim from Sandy Point by Dr. Jones.
Yeah,
Henderson?
yeah. What you say?
Isn't
He's from Zulu?
the episode that his grandmother said that she was a Zulu?
Oh, well, grandmother was wrong.
All right.
So that they were tracking, you know, so, you know, they mix and whatever, what percentage of a tribe or whatever you came from. And that's interesting. And I want it to move down here. And I want somebody to do an in-depth study of slavery. The origin, because, you know, in the register, there are some of them giving us Igbo. So they come from two parts of Nigeria. She called it different countries and so. You know, if people could do a little more digging, because my name, so probably Innis did something, but to me, a lot of his work wasn't deep enough, wasn't extensive enough. So that's what I have to say for now.
Well, it's the last day of Black History Month, so it's quite an apropos topic. So thank you for your contribution. We're going to pause now for a word from the sponsors. We'll try to do it in a timely manner. Last week we didn't get a chance to do so. It's now about 40 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. I'm going to pause for a word from our sponsors. Okay.
Friends is for you and me. Giving back to community. Friends is for you and me. Better for your family. Better service, better price, better value, better choice. Rewarding you for loyalty. Friends is for you and me. Better price and quality.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Buster, pour it up, need the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster put the colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. Buster, you're full of vibes, living for the color. And I'm black and white, we do what we like. We live to enjoy life. Buster, pour it up, different flavor. Load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster put the colors in my life.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Decided what to eat yet, hon?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to Flow.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
Good morning once again and welcome back to Voices. We had a call from Sister Henry a short while ago, and she was speaking about Dr. Henry Louis Gates, an African-American professor who is actually doing a lot in terms of researching the history. I think she said he was trying to trace the origins of slavery. He's done that interaction. And very distinguished gentleman. I follow some of his work, not all. I'm happy to hear that there's a more detailed undertaking of what he's doing. Now try to follow up on that. But some years ago, he became a little more famous for all wrong reasons. He was arrested by the Boston police officers for trying to enter his own home. Of course, it's in a prestigious neighborhood. And they questioned him. He said, I'm trying to get in my home. There was an issue with his keys or whatever the case is. And he was arrested. He told them who he was and why his circumstance. And they arrested, they handcuffed him and all that simply for trying to end his own home. We take a call from the public. Good morning, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hi, the King. Good morning.
I will just send a left you in the circus, so now we'll get a contribution from you. Good morning. Welcome to
Today
the program.
happens to be the last day of the month of February.
That is quite so.
Is it so?
On the 20th day of February, and we are still observing Black History Month and this heritage.
May I have permission to speak?
Most certainly.
Yes. It was interesting about what your DNA results can be from the swab testing. Some persons are apprehensive because of, some persons feel comfortable as to what ethnicity they don't keen to know. But I think it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of the what we call the mingling of the people, both African stock and European. And what was interesting, though, is, good morning, Mrs. Smith. You spoke about no person in the Caribbean came from West.
Zulu?
West,
It was
from
with
South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
The Zulu, maybe. But there were other tribes down there, like the Ngoni and the different tribes. But they say, I have not heard it, but one time they say Oprah Winfrey was making that claim. And they shut it down. But yes, persons came from South Africa. Whether they
migrated.
A minority might have been in the Caribbean, the majority might have been elsewhere, like in the North America and other places. But it depends on what colonial power, The French-speaking would have targeted like West Africa, like
Senegal,
Togo, and Benin, the former Dahomey, and Cote d'Ivoire, and so the English-speaking would have concentrated on like the Gold Coast, the Grain Coast, Sierra Leone, where those English the English colonized those colonies. There was the slave coast also, and so predominantly from the Bight of Benin to the Bight of Biafra. So it's interesting. I just only have this affinity of certain ethnicity. I think I'm mixed because my father, I can vividly remember my father and my mother, and I could say that they did not hail from the same ethnicity. My father, like Congolese, like warrior-like. He used to fight a lot. And my mother, like, more like, I have this strong affinity to the Eve. That's why I speak so much about Eve. This is where I'm going. Greg said something the other day, I just wish to follow up on it briefly. Greg spoke about, he actually rubbished my source. He did ask for my source. I gave him my source. I did not rubbish his source. I respect his source, and he's not on that. You asked for my source, I give you my source. But be that as it may, he rubbished my source. King, would you say, hypothetically, if Nevis were to cede, yes, tomorrow, if Nevis were to secede, yes, tomorrow, would you say that the intermingling of the people, they will have Kitishan blood up there too?
Naturally.
Thank you.
My
Likewise, in the case of Anguilla, to a less extent. Greg, this is what the word Ephraim means, which came down to be Ephraim, which was the first name of the nation of Israel. One of Joseph's sons. Joseph is an English word also. Ephraim made to secede. So when Greg stated, I'm paraphrasing him, that the man contradicted himself by saying that the people that leave Egypt is not Egyptian or, of that nature. They are. How can? The man wrote in his book, and I said it before, the former Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu. How could the man have written this thing in the book and Mr. Netanyahu did not take up this man to say, well, why are you calling my name in your book? This name is not an African name that I carry. This name is from my ancestry. Mr. Netanyahu would have been right. It's from his ancestry, but it's African. So, Greg, the man was saying it right because Joseph married into the daughter of the high priest of An, or Heliopolis, a suburb of Egypt today. The city of An, where the Ra, and so. The An is the ancient name for the Heliopolis, which is Greek, which the word Helios becomes to be holy, which is the first part of the Bible, Holy Bible. And so, Greg, from Joseph is married and other marriages with the sons and the sons of and the grandsons and so forth, mingling with the people. They came out and the Ephraim, they seceded from the bigger group and formed their own nation over the time. So, Greg, the man was on point, and he is on point. The Africans are the ones who wrote the Bible. We know what we're saying. And just like how Mrs. Henry is making the case of linguistics, they did that. The people in Israel did all of that and knew through the linguistic and the DNA that they are the African people. And even their names. Joseph is Osapha, and so on and so on and so on. Mosisi, Osisi, Moses, and so on. And we have the names, and we track this thing not only through culture, but also linguistic and DNA. And some of them are tied to the Limba people in Zimbabwe. The Limba. And yes, and they are of the priestly class. They tie and they realize that, wow, these chromosomes are older in the Limba than the oldness that they are in those Sephardic or Ashkenazi people. And that is why these Ashkenazis and these Sephardic rabbis, they are visiting Africa more, because they realize that their roots are embedded in people, and they're learning a lot from the culture. They attire, the priesthood and all that. The culture, it is there. To the T. It is there amongst the people. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you. I've allowed you to continue without interruption because there are folks who are actually listening and learning what you're saying. And every time people complain, well, you let this person speak too long, etc., we monitor if the call's on the line, then we will ask the caller to move on. But when you have information to share, okay. Example, we now take a call from, good morning, caller, 11 Voices.
Good morning, the King.
Good morning, sir.
And let me say good morning to Mrs. Henry.
Yes.
And also those hearing the sound of my voice. This is Journey.
Mm-hmm.
The King.
Sir.
I am very humble this morning because I've learned of a funeral that took place last week, Thursday, of a taxi man that passed. he buried over in Sadler's, I think. And I am humbled this morning to know that someone from my village attended that funeral, and word came back to me that when they were at the funeral, they overheard a group of ladies saying, "Oh, I'm going to miss Journey today on the program," because apparently it was an early funeral. So I am humbled to know that my people are listening.
Ah, yes.
Now this morning, I want to talk about spirituality and religion with your permission.
You may.
Thank you. Now, I have stated before that African culture and spirituality intertwine with harmony with nature and the cosmos. Now, we were broken from our culture, spirituality, education, our names, and our tradition. Now, let me state that spirituality does not need an avenue because we are all one people. Religion, however, on the other hand, need an avenue. Now, just let me state, from the ideology of the word chosen, I'm referring to the black book that we read, the ideology of the word chosen and peculiar. The narrative of the conqueror who has conquered our ancestors or people and inserted themselves into our story. Today, the king, most of us, most of our people are plugged into the narrative of his story as to our story. And let me state that religion, and by the way, the king, for the person you met this morning, that was not me.
Really?
I haven't left my house for
Well,
the morning.
he's got your voice.
Okay.
He's got your voice.
Maybe it's a clone.
I see.
We have artificial intelligence.
What about the
today.
description I gave? A very pleasant young man, handsome young man. That's not you?
Well, I take care of myself, the king.
Okay.
So, I'm in my early 50s.
Well, next chance you get, let's get introduced.
I will do.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, let me continue. Religion control the epistemology, our eschatological views of life and death. You know, I've mentioned before, the king, that the Bible teaches us that heaven and earth will pass away. And you know, one of our frequent callers always stated that, you know, there's a heaven to gain and a hell to gain. Now, let me say, the word fear, false evidence appearing real, that's what they have given us. Now, religion have also controlled our consciousness, and I'm going to hashtag the word consciousness. As a person believes, so he or she behave. Now, we know in the book, we know of all the thou shalt not do, the thou shalt not kill, the thou shalt not hate, the thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet. Hence, the white man, I'm going to say it, the white man has placed himself into the biblical text. Your caller stated that African wrote the Bible. They told us in the book that the word was written by inspired men of God. Now, yes, let us ask ourselves, who were the inspired men of God? Because the king, we have a saying, say, the profile doesn't fit the criteria. And by that, I'm going to say, if the narrative of the Jesus that we have, who died for the sins of the world, the way we are being killed today in the diaspora, the narrative of the image that was painted, who died for the sins of the world. And we can go to America, we can go to Europe, we can go on the continent, we can come here in our Caribbean islands. We all know how they're killing our people in America, in Europe, how they knelt on George Floyd's neck, how a police officer pulled a taser, and you know the story. It goes on and on.
Still current.
Now, Sorry?
It's still current.
Right. So you see the king, here I am that I am trying, I am the voice in the wilderness among others. Because I have stated before, and there are those who have challenged my base on different radio programs, which I'm going to deal with tomorrow. I have stated before that, all that we have, some say that if I were to write a book, I would make mistake. Well, the king, I've been reading
We all make mistakes.
from the early age of 12, and I've taken my journey since the pandemic, and I'm learning as I'm going. I cannot conclude everything in a phone call. I might make mistake, and I would come and say, for instance, I've stated that the invasion of Russia into Ukraine is fake news. Someone challenged that last week on a different radio program. Well, let me say, I maintain my stand on that. It is fake news because I want our people to focus on the bigger picture. There's a
Someone
new
says a
world order.
distraction, not fake news.
Yes. Thank you for that, the king. It's a distraction because Putin is not going to pull the trigger on nuclear warhead. No.
Yeah, but
there's a new world order, and there's a great reset. And the West and all the superpower knows that Africa is the future, the king. So, the thing is, when we even, back to the biblical text, the king.
Okay, you got about 60 seconds to wrap up, so get to your point,
I'm going to do that right
yes,
now.
please.
We even sing in a song, "Take the world, but give me Jesus." So we have seen, right, that religion have separated us. Spirituality, African spirituality is unity. So, the fact that we were divided, we were broken from our spirituality. And let me repeat this again, the king. Religion have separated us. Note that I didn't say Christianity. Religion have separated us. Spirituality in the sense of the knowledge of self, knowledge of who we are before the conquerors conquered us. Spirituality will unite us. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you so very much, but I'll venture your contribution, as valued as it is, the position that you've taken that what's going on in Ukraine is all fake news. I could understand people pushing back against that perception that it is fake news. It may be a distraction based on the storytelling that we should not follow that, but stay focus on Afrocentricity, etc., etc. But I can tell you that's a world event unfolding as we go back to the phone lines and say good morning to this caller. Call you live on Voices.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Mr. Socrates.
Sir.
I heard what's her name? Miss Henry.
Sister Henry.
Somebody was saying something about a particular tribe was not in the Caribbean.
The Zulu.
I think the Zulu.
From South Africa.
Yeah, but if Bantu.
Bantu or one of the tribes here?
Here in St. Kitts, why Zulu couldn't be here? I'm just asking the question.
The geography, they're speaking the geography of where what was identified as the slave coast. You had the Gold Coast, you had the Ivory Coast, the Green Coast, you had,
you have to go through that with me. But let me put it this way. I also heard Africa say something about its parents. One might have been, what do they call these people here? In the Congolese.
Yep.
But he has a kind of Congolese look, appearance, with nothing degrading.
Well, we were called Congo, and it was supposed to be a derogatory remark. You black Congo.
No, but I'll tell you something. My father come from a mixture of Portuguese and African.
There you go.
And my father is a derivative of Portuguese and African.
That was common.
And my father was born in 1894.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me his grandparents came here as indentured servants. They came from the island of Madeira.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that you might tell me Madeira mixed up with Africans and all of that.
No, but
So
I'm glad you have that history. I am
and
glad.
those and all of that. But I'm just saying this to say, after slavery was abolished here, I'm talking about St. Kitts. The grandparents told him that ships used to bring people from Africa, from the Congo region,
Mm-hmm.
and they landed them at Old Road Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Not Old Road Bay. But the people settled from Old Road, go all the way down to Sadlers. So I keep saying it, but maybe you never heard me with it. But if you look at the people, look at the physique, Old Road down to maybe St. Paul's after tree, especially St. Paul's, and you see a big difference from other people. All the people were integrated over the years. But quickly, most of the people in Brazil, black people, came from Angola. It was a Portuguese colony, and it was easier to sail across the southern Atlantic, especially when Brazil was opening up to plant sugar plenty.
It was huge.
Most Brazilians are from Angolan heritage.
Okay.
So anyway, I can't finish our for time, but normally some people say I talk too long, but I don't talk as long as others. But we on the program that matter to them. So I just add my bit there about St. Kitts. Bantagot is a place, they call it Bantagot, but we really Bantagot, up above Middle Island.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my ministers told us some episodes about Zulu and others in Jamaica when he was living there.
Okay.
But have a good day.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'll follow up on that, but we will pause now forward from our sponsors and get back.
Decided what to eat yet, hon?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to Flow.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
Hello.
Good, Jean?
What's up, girl? Talk to me.
You know I'm working hard on being even more active, right? So we're going to the TDC Home and Building Depot to get a blender, weights, a yoga mat, and a bike for Clive, too.
You serious? Something keep in there?
Yes, girl, all month long. Shop in store, get 20% in savings on health and wellness products like blenders, juicers, air fryers, waist trainers, and more.
Girl, Betty, you're joking.
I don't have time for jokes. Get yourself sorted because in February we're staying active with TDC HBD.
Yes, girl.
Girl. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Pump it up with Quicks. One pump and you're pumping. Dishes done, you're smiling. Pump it up with Quicks. Keep pumping. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. I don't want a dirty sink. Keep pumping up with Quicks now. Clean that sink. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. Pump it up.
Welcome back to Voices for our viewers, our listeners, our contributors. My name is Socrates, and of course, it's about 20 minutes up through the midday newscast at 12 o'clock, so we try to get some calls in and continue the debate. But to make a point where, the second to last caller was saying that he don't think that Putin would ever drop a nuclear bomb. Hey, the reason why he's not, or they're not encouraged to, they have what you call a MAD treaty. Mutually assured destruction. So if one triggers a nuclear event, they will respond and the whole world gone kaboom. That is why they're hesitant. But the last atomic bomb was dropped by the Americans on Japan, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. That informed the world never to go that route. But right now, based on what's happening and unfolding in the news, right, Putin is threatening to use his defensive potential. He's talking about nuclear war, nuclear weaponry. High alert. But he's trying to, I would say, blackmail the world into supporting him or backing away from trying to assist Ukraine. So it's not fake news. It's happening, unfolding. And as a student of the Bible, this was predicted in the last days, if you want to call this last days, wars, rumors of wars, etc. They are unfolding as we speak. We're in the last day of February. You blink and 2022 is over. The days are shortened. The global events, in terms of natural disaster, plagues, etc., they are unfolding as predicted in the Bible. So, my friend Journey, you have to take one with the other. Don't say, well, we need to focus our attention here only and avoid what's happening there because it's fake news. It is not fake news. Okay? Just that. In terms of tracing our ancestry, I know area, let me shut up and say good morning to caller. You have live on Voices.
Yeah, greetings and love, blessed morning,
Pleasant rising to you, sir.
Yeah, the war in Ukraine, with Russia. I'd like to talk a little about that.
Please.
It's a situation where we have Russia now invading Ukraine, right? The civilians are killing, because they're attacking cities, right? And the civilians, them live in the city, right?
Correct.
So basically, you can say that it's an unjust war, straight out of the bat, right? And then with the provocation, why the war, And then considering that all these countries are member states of the United Nations, the United Nations was set up to prevent war, So whenever there was a problem, the leaders them can sit down on a table and, sort out the issue. And not only that, Russia is a member state on the Security Council, so which means they shouldn't be violating nobody, no territorial integrity.
I'm not sure if Russia is on the Security Council. They was kicked off some years ago.
They were kicked off.
Mm-hmm. Trump was trying to get them reinstated in NATO, but they were not accepted.
So you sure Russia is not on the UN?
Let me say I'm not sure. They were kicked out of NATO some years ago for violating...
I'm not talking about NATO, I'm talking about the United Nations Security Council. I think China, all of them big power, there is a part of it,
You may be right. Go ahead.
To keep peace in the earth, right? So I'm saying now, as a member of that body, they shouldn't be involving themselves in that. You understand? Because now, how they going what it is they're going to defend now after they don't do these things? What they're going to defend? They're not defend nothing. And then now, one to the other member states of the United Nations, they're supposed to come to Ukraine help because there's a principle of collective security in the United Nations. All of them saying to agree to it.
What they're saying...
situation is
What they're saying that Ukraine is not a NATO partner. They're not a member of NATO.
No, I'm not talking about NATO. Take NATO off of the table. I'm not talking about NATO. I'm talking about
You're speaking about the pact where they have to defend each other, right?
Huh?
You're speaking about the pact that they should be able to come together to defend each other. But Ukraine is not a member.
Because all of them are member states of the United Nations, right? And a part of the makeup, the Constitution of the United Nations, you have the principle of collective security.
They're not.
Which is,
They're not.
They're not?
Same as Taiwan. They're not.
What do you mean they're not? I understand they're not what?
Okay.
They're not a member of the United Nations?
The same as okay, I was just corrected that Russia is part of the UN Security Council.
Yeah. So they're supposed to be respecting people, human rights, and they're supposed to be respecting territorial integrity.
Supposed to be.
Land. You know what I mean?
But
What
those
example that?
European powers do it in Africa every single day.
Yes, I'm coming there. I'm just trying to show you something what's going on, right? The same situation His Majesty had to face when it was the League of Nations. It wasn't the United Nations yet. It was the League of Nations. And it's the same situation where Italy attacked him, right? And the rest of the league was to come to his aid, and none of them did that. See? So the United Nations supposed to go to the aid of Ukraine. Else World War III ever broke out, because that is why World War II came about, you know. When they refuse, right, to act like they already swear, then they would act in this manner. They refuse. You understand? So all these things we got what, you know what I mean? I mean, what kind of leaders running this world? You know what I mean? Where we going with it? You know, now touching about Africa, like Johnny rightfully said, all of these things, right, they put this war in front of us, right? It's unjust and they're doing it, and they know exactly what they're doing, right? But a lot of the time, the publicize this in a way, right? To hide a lot of injustice to maybe all like now doing them in Africa. You know what I mean? So, but we can't say his life same way, you know what I mean? Whether
So your duty is not to get distracted.
And its principles are not man. You understand? So it's foolishness what I deal with, you know, my brethren, because you're going to kill up innocent people. People got a life going on, and you're going to mash up that there for what? You know what I mean?
So when has that stopped? From the dawn of man, when has it stopped?
To get the blame, you know, at the whole of them, because the rest of them got responsibility to Ukraine, right? Because all of them are members of the same organization. You understand? That's why I tell you, you know, this system here will come out of this Babylonian system. You have to go. You know, we want something better. We want betterment for people. You know what I mean? Something we got more respect for humanity. You know what I mean? And that is why I advocate for the Rastafari system. Because Rastafari is a way of life. Which is a whole brand new way of life with everything in it. Just like a seed come with everything in it. Just so His Majesty being the seed of this way of life, right? It come with everything in it. It's just for man to look in it. You know, take time out. Stop there for now, King.
Respect. Okay, no call on the line? All right, we're getting various folks are waiting on what's happening in the UK and what position should we as a people, whether from the region or from national standpoint, take on it. And I'm saved by the bell. Caller, you live on Voices.
Yeah, good day, and good day to His Majesty.
Sir,
His Majesty, you don't know this. Russia is the permanent secretary, permanent Security Council member.
Yes, I was corrected.
Because the other day had to veto the resolution that was being processed to the UN to condemn the invasion, and Russia was able to veto it after he had to extinction.
Invasion of what?
China and India.
Okay.
And I thought you were aware of that there. Yeah. But on top of that there, my thing is this with this war here business. This could have been prevented. They have something named NATO, and they have the expansion going on in terms of going further to the Russian border. They ain't have to do that there. And the Ukrainians then they have to be, in a sense, very caught up in that situation, but they wanted it to be because they already had NATO. All kind of things happening with NATO inside of Ukraine. Yeah? Name it. Whether it's military parade, all kind of stuff. Whether it's closing people opportunities from speaking Russian, name it. So in that situation there, I see some genuine concern from the president of Russia. And we cannot deny this and ignore it. Like how the NATO and the West ignore it.
So you're saying this nation's incursion into Ukraine, which is supposed to be claimed by Russia? Is that what you're saying? The incursion in
That's what I say. Russia, what is it? Russia ain't claiming nothing. This is something we're going back to Russia.
Used to be. The Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was disbanded years ago, and they want to be independent states. You are saying that because of NATO's relationship with those countries, that justifies Putin for doing what he's doing?
Exactly. They could have tell you. You can't, nobody want to come under America with missiles in Venezuela and Cuba and them kind of thing. So why don't want to go under the border of the USSR and nobody doing that under the American border, eh? In Mexico and Venezuela and Cuba and them things. These things could be prevented, at Majesty.
Got your point.
This is what I'm saying?
Got your point.
These things could be prevented, but at the same time, when you want to expand to a border, to reach the country and to break it up further, the person who in charge of the country is not going to accept that.
So
that is important that we can look at too.
Is that what triggered the invasion of Croatia? Was it Croatia when he annexed Croatia in 2014?
Yes, it's important that we look at it like that because the people feel they're being ignored. And at the same time, when the Soviet Union was breaking up in 1990, they break up in 12 pieces. May not hear Putin say so. So what you want them to break up in another 12 again? So
Yeah, but it was unsustainable. It was unsustainable, and there's a reason why they fell apart.
Well, at the same time, you got to understand that they have issues with that situation there. Just a couple of issues underneath NATO under the border. They have issues with the Americans and other people coming right under the borders to disseminate the country. The country was bigger than what it is right now. And you know that too. So
It comes down to those superpowers, right? Strategically placing nuclear weaponry and military, how do you put it? Yeah, in certain areas to protect the interests. It's all about a power grab. Who can grab more, who can defend more, and so it's a game of global chess.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think we also over here going to have a price to pay, just because they put a price to pay for that situation in them going in there.
Our economies are tied to
Have
this.
a price to pay.
Our economies are tied to this, so we will get the feedback. How much? What's the cost of the blowback? Sorry, the blowback. What's the cost of diesel right now?
What you start on?
Cost of diesel.
Well, at the same time, is America is going to raise higher far before he come down here and raise
We
higher.
already paying $17.
That's what I tell
per
you.
gallon.
Okay then. All right. And not only that, the Europeans are going to spend more too for gas and other stuff there too. But at the same time, they don't prepare for that there. We
So
just
the
got to prepare
spin-off-
for it because as you hear, His Majesty, I come in here. You hear the man say, President Putin, we are prepared for whatever outcome. You hear the most, so much important.
I didn't listen to him, but I know they're giving up.
He did say so. He did say so. You listen to him carefully. And we have to pay attention to this kind of language here. Because when people making up their mind to do this thing here and prove that they're bad, they have to prove that they could take the punishment.
Well, the Croatians also, not the Croatian, the folks in Ukraine are also pushing back. As he told the Americans, he don't want to fight, he need ammunition, he wants to stand and fight. So the determination is being really, really respected. But I think it's going to get a lot worse before it get better. Whatever the cause, it's a reality. It is not fake news. It's happening. It's unfolding as we speak. Okay, we got about 6 minutes before we come up to the midday newscast. And the opinion is that they're being an independent country, they're free to do what they want. But as Stalin sang some years ago, stay away from the ism and schism. You must have a nuclear weapon in order to defend your ism. And it's true. Once you take a certain position and you're not really on a global scale militarily equipped to defend your stance, you got a problem. You know, and sadly, as I was mentioning, the chap was mentioning around Bastia, I was saying, it's how peaceful we are. Nobody throwing bombs. We have to appreciate where we live and that peace. And there are those who agitate and try to create issues that will cause us to have conflict. We don't want that. We definitely don't want that. So, yes, salutations going out to, once again, I did mention Lady Pamela Wall. Of course, there's the Governor General. They are the folks in the security service, those guys. We take a call from the public. Call 11 Voices.
Hi, King. Man, how are you?
Good day. I'm okay. Know your voice. What's going on with you?
I'm here, but I'm very, I'm very, very upset with a person. I don't know who he is, but just hearing him on different program.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like supposed to be a bright person, and up to now I can't get over it.
He said that the war is fake news. Remember, he told you that last week. And
Oh,
up to now
we
I
were
can't get over
discussing that a while ago.
He said the war is fake news. So much innocent people losing their life. This man said the war is fake news.
Well, let's
I
hear what
can't
you have
get
to
over
say. Let's hear what you have to say. What do you know about the war?
Continue talking about it until he withdrew that.
Huh?
You don't have to do it for me. But as I tell you, he sounds like he's supposed to be a bright person.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's the last thing. I don't know what to say.
But let's talk. What are your thoughts on the whole issue with Russia invading the Ukraine and all that, if you have any thoughts at all?
King Bai should have never been. Should have never been.
Because some are saying that they're justified in doing so. Some are saying, no, there's no provocation whatsoever. It all depends on whose story, whose narrative you want to believe. Right?
Well, I believe Putin just wants to show his power in doing that.
So it's a power grab. Some feel that NATO is encroaching in areas that would make him weak strategically. So he's trying to defend that area. Example, if, say, for Venezuela, would it start to, say, go and put ammunition close to, armaments close to Mexico, the U.S. can say they're on the border. They're encroaching on the border, and they don't want them to do that, so they push back.
Yeah.
So it's a similar scenario, right? That is from the Putin's perspective. That's how some people see it. NATO is trying to encroach in areas that would make them strategically more poised in case there's a war, or better poised. He wants to avoid that, right? So, as I said last week, only the grass get trampled when elephant fights. That's us African proverbs. Only the grass get trampled when elephants fight. So we are a part of a global community, but yes, we have a say. We're a member of NATO, we have a say, but then we can back it up militarily. Or with nuclear weaponry. And sometimes we have to tiptoe and choose sides because it benefits us, it benefits our national interests. But wrong is wrong. But then you must have the story, the origins, and why, I know this is happening. But it is definitely not fake news. And that is the issue.
You know, never been. And as I said earlier, we're going to get the backlash down here at some point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because it's going to affect the Americans economically. We depend on their financial stability to fuel our tourism markets. If they don't have the money to spend, because we just come off for like 2 years of COVID, and if they have to look at their pocketbook and not travel as freely as they ought, well, it affects us. So, who wrote the song? It was Tobago Crusoe. It was sung by singer Sandra, the late singer Sandra. Nobody wins a war. So when you really look at it, nobody wins a war. And that is true. Nobody wins. They are not innocent bystanders. Even if it affect you directly right here and now, but in some way, somehow, it will affect us globally. So those are words penned by Mr. Bacchus. I forget his first name, but he's known as Tobago Crusoe, the author of the song, Nobody Wins a War, sung by singer Sandra. And on that point, we're going to pause for the midday newscast, and we will be back directly after.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Better service, better price, better value, better choice, rewarding you.
Decided what to eat yet, hun?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to Flow.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch your home mortgage? Our in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
With the Win Headline News, I am Devon Cornelius.
I am Yolanda Weeks.
Making the headlines.
Positive feedback on Sugar Mass 50. Great projections for the next carnival season.
Police investigating a fatal incident at ferry terminal. Police investigating death of man at Crab Hill. Internationally, Russian convoy of tanks and military hardware positioned north of Kyiv. The details and more straight ahead. The police are investigating an incident at the ferry terminal in Bastia after responding to a report that a man had drowned. The police received the report close to 4 p.m. on Saturday, February 26, 2022. Inquiries so far have revealed that 50-year-old Kenneth Percival of Matnight dived into the sea from the pier at the ferry terminal to retrieve the propeller of a motor vessel that had fallen off. When he did not resurface, the St. Kitts and Nevis Coast Guard was called to assist. An officer from the Coast Guard discovered Percival's motionless body at the bottom of the sea. Personnel from the forensic department visited and processed the scene. Persons with information about this incident are asked to contact the Criminal Investigation Department at 465-2241, their nearest police station, or the crime hotline at 707. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. The police are investigating the death of 36-year-old Deshaun Leader, who was fatally wounded during an incident at Crab Hill Sandy Point. Leader was originally from St. Paul's but resided in Sandy Point. Police received a report sometime after 8 p.m. on Friday, February 25, 2022, that a man in the area appeared to be dead. They responded, and upon arrival, they met Leader's motionless body lying on the ground with what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds about the body. Investigations so far have revealed that Leader had just parked and exited his motor vehicle when he was accosted by an armed assailant who shot at him. He tried to make his escape by running away, but the armed assailant set chase and continued firing at him. He later fell and succumbed to his injuries. Personnel from the forensic department processed the scene and collected items of evidential value. Persons with information regarding this matter are urged to contact the Violent Crime Unit by dialing 467-1887, 467-1888, 662-3468, their nearest police station, or the crime hotline at 707, where information can be given anonymously. Investigations into the matter are ongoing.
The long-anticipated prize-giving ceremony for the 2021 National Carnival Sugar Mass 50 was held on Saturday night, February 26, 2022, at the Marriott Ballroom. In the midst of the pandemic and the sudden outbreak of the fourth wave of COVID-19, the National Carnival Committee showed true resilience and innovation. Whilst all other carnival celebrations in the region were cancelled, the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival was held. During her presentation, Chair of the National Carnival Committee, Ms. Shannon Hawley, shared an overview of the 2021 Carnival season celebration.
Over the past 2 years, we have significantly grown our St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival brand as a business despite the pandemic. In September 2021, we hosted the first set of streamed events for the 50th anniversary celebrations. The royal reveal of our National Carnival Queen Pageant contestants. That was 6 months ago, wow. It was followed by the reveal of the swimsuit contestants. These highly anticipated reveals set the bar very high for the carnival season.
Highlighted on the calendar of activities for Sugar Mass 50 were other new activities, such as the first ever National Carnival Song Competition, the National Carnival Queen Runway Challenge, and Bubble Juve. With the subtraction of some of the usual carnival activities in 2020, we saw the reintroduction of the National Carnival Queen and Swimwear pageants and Soca Monarch competition. Events that were introduced for the first time for Carnival 2020 were hosted again in 2021. These include the Creative Arts Competition, Sugar Scope Photography Competition, and Icons Road March edition. The Carnival Committee also commenced the second annual Calypso Tent virtual series. According to Hawley, the Carnival Committee's intention in 2022 is to work closely with tent leaders to ensure that the traditional Calypso tents return and are launched early September. Despite the challenges posed by the pandemic, the Carnival chair outlined some of the successes of Sugar Mass 50.
The committee was also able to increase prize monies for a number of competitions which were held for the 50th anniversary, such as Panorama, the Senior Calypso Monarch, Soca Monarch, and the National Carnival Queen pageant. Our series of events that were streamed live this year attracted over 500,000 viewers, 500,000 viewers on social media. Bubble Juve alone attracted close to 200,000 viewers globally. We were also able to attract a significant paying audience via our pay-per-view network for the finals of the National Carnival Queen pageant, Swimsuit pageant, and Senior Calypso Monarch competition. Our revenue for the National Carnival Queen pageant for the 50th anniversary, based on our online and in-person paying audience, was able to exceed the revenue of the 2019 Queen Show pre-pandemic. So thank you very much for your support.
The St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee was placed in the spotlight with the successful hosting of Sugar Mass 50 and captured the attention of other carnival committees and stakeholders across the region.
In 2021, all regional carnivals, as you know, were cancelled, yet the St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival Committee, or St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival, continued its growth for the second year during the pandemic, and all eyes around the region were on us. I recently presented to the Grenada National Carnival Committee and other carnival committees and stakeholders from around the region and internationally have been in contact with us for guidance, advice, and collaborative opportunities. This for us as the Carnival Committee is a big deal, and we feel that we have again accomplished our mission.
Hawley revealed that preparations for the National Carnival's 51st anniversary has commenced, hoping that Carnival will return fully with the pageants, competitions, private events and road events such as Juve, Last Lap, the Grand Parade and Children's Carnival. The Carnival chair disclosed that over the next 4 to 6 weeks, the committee will engage the troop leaders, calypsonians, entertainers, band leaders, and event promoters to discuss the way forward for Sugar Mass 51. According to Hawley, the intention of the committee is to host a series of workshops to ensure that all carnival stakeholders are properly trained and certified in their respective areas. The workshops will be hosted for judges, chaperones, costume builders, calypsonians and soca artists, etc. The regional marketing activities for Carnival 50 will commence in the second quarter of 2022. Hawley said this is to ensure that carnival lovers elsewhere become just as excited as the local carnival enthusiasts. Chair of the committee, Ms. Shannon Hawley, expressed gratitude to those who made Sugar Mass 50 possible.
First off, on behalf of the committee, I wish to record my sincerest thanks and appreciation to Minister Powell and the federal government of St. Kitts and Nevis for ensuring that over $1.5 million was subsidized and paid out to well over 200 stakeholders for this past National Carnival, who competed in various competitions for the 50th anniversary. All of these individuals collectively assisted us to reach our goal of ensuring a quality carnival product for carnival lovers locally, regionally, and internationally to enjoy.
Hawley also expressed gratitude to the individuals who entertained and participated in Sugar Mass 50, whether live or virtually. In addition, she extended appreciation to the sponsors, the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, National Caribbean Insurance, Carib Brewery St. Kitts Limited, The Cable, ZIZ, Next Generation Lab, Royal St. Kitts Hotel, and the St. Kitts Marriott Resort for coming on board despite the economic challenges and supporting the committee's vision.
An intense near 5-hour rescue effort by the Barbados Fire Service, the Barbados Defence Service and police for a missing person at Cove's Cave, St. Thomas last night paid off. Around midnight, 17-year-old Shadon Padmore emerged from the cave unscathed into the arms of worried family members who were at the scene. Padmore had gone on a tour of the cave with his friends earlier on Sunday.
I would like to thank everyone, the police, the task force, everybody that went and bring my grandson out of that cave. I don't know how I feel tonight. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I feel so great to have my grandson back in my arms again. I thank everyone that is alive and well.
The final part is called stage 3. So stage 3 usually is just like you go on the rocks and you come back out over the other side. However, stage 3 today it had a lot of water because of the rain and stuff, so it was hard to get through stage 3, but I made it through. But the only problem for me was light. Had I had light down in the cave, I would have been back out ever since, but light was the problem for me. But otherwise, it was pretty okay. I came out unharmed. No, I wasn't scared at all. I know the cave and I know my friends would have left me down there, so I tried to make my way to the exit because I know my friends would have been there to help me out. I probably went in the cave 10 times or more, that's the truth.
No, how long?
Oh, we went in the cave like early evening. We got into the cave safely. It was a rough journey, but together we made it out. I want to apologize to my family for everything they went through. I know it's hard for them, a bunch of emotional people, but we made it out.
Say that again, Jaden.
What? Right, I want to say thanks to everybody for coming out tonight and getting me out of this cave safely. Thank you.
Grant, how are you feeling at this point?
I feel a bit relieved, but I still got the nervy feeling in me. But thank God, he got out safely. Praise God.
The about turn by Germany, which has now decided to send arms to Ukraine, led swiftly to a change in the European Union position.
The European Union steps up once more its support for Ukraine and the sanctions against the aggressor that is Putin's Russia. For the first time ever, the European Union will finance the purchase and delivery of weapons and other equipment to a country that is under attack. This is a watershed moment.
That just one of a series of new tough measures announced by the EU, targeting not just Russia, but its key ally, Belarus.
We will target the other aggressor of this war, Lukashenko's regime. Lukashenko's regime is complicit in the vicious attack against Ukraine. So we will hit Lukashenko's regime with a new package of sanctions.
The EU foreign ministers met later by video link to formally endorse the new measures that also ban Russian media outlets RT and Sputnik from operating in EU countries. In recent days, more and more European countries have imposed bans on Russian planes entering their airspace. Now an EU-wide ban is going to be put in place, the aim to further isolate Russia and the government of Vladimir Putin. EU interior ministers have also been meeting to deal with the growing refugee crisis. They fear the total number of people fleeing their homes could grow to 7 million. James Bays, Al Jazeera, Brussels.
The night was relatively quiet, but Kiev knows the worst is almost certainly still to come. These satellite images show a 3-mile-long convoy of Russian tanks and military hardware to the north of Kiev, almost certainly preparing for a ground assault. But they're also vulnerable from the air. The Ukrainian military posted this footage of a drone strike, possibly on the same convoy. If the Russians were expecting the Ukrainians to roll over, the first 4 days of this war have proved them wrong. On Sunday, Russian vehicles moved into the eastern city of Kharkiv. They appear, for now, to have been repelled. Fighting is reported again this morning. The mood is hardly promising for talks, but it looks like there may be discussions today between Ukraine and Russia near the border with Belarus. Ukraine's president says there are no preconditions attached, but that he has little hope of a breakthrough. Lviv in Ukraine's west is now a hub for those trying to flee. Nina's husband must stay to fight, and she's trying to get out with her teenage son and 2 young daughters.
It's difficult to describe the pain and fear inside. Everything is burning. It is hard to explain to our children. They miss their relatives and friends. It is very painful. I can't describe it.
Ukraine has managed to slow the advance, but Russia is gaining ground and unlikely to turn back. The more dogged the resistance, the more brutal the Russian tactics may become. Jonah Fisher, BBC News.
Ukraine needs help. It has done for months. As Russia sent more and more troops to the border, Ukraine was receiving more and more military aid from the West. Overall, the US has given $2.5 billion worth since 2014. And as Ukraine's military has doubled in size, it's been fighting too, against separatists in eastern Ukraine. But Thursday night brought something new. And faced with Russia's invasion, Ukraine needs more help. That won't be troops, as President Biden has made clear.
We have no intention of fighting Russia.
But this weekend, the West escalated its military support. First, the Americans released a further $350 million. Other countries offered more too. The UK, France, Poland, Turkey, Belgium, and crucially, Germany.
With the invasion of Ukraine, we have entered a new era.
Since the Second World War, Germany hasn't sent weapons into conflict zones. Not anymore. The new Chancellor Olaf Scholz tweeted, "We are delivering 1,000 anti-tank weapons and 500 Stinger missiles to our friends in Ukraine." He told Germans there was no other choice. And the list of weaponry continues to expand. Javelin anti-tank guided missiles from the UK, the US and Estonia, drones from Turkey. And Germany's policy shift means countries which have German-made weapons can share those too. The extra support's been noted. On Friday, President Zelensky said Ukraine was being left alone. But on Saturday night, he tweeted, "Keep it up, Chancellor Scholz, the anti-war coalition in action." There is, though, a challenge here. Getting military aid into Ukraine is more complicated now. For example, flying weapons in poses an unacceptable risk.
Anti-tank, anti-aircraft systems can be trucked across the border, picked up by the Ukrainians. The vital problem then is to get the stuff in the volume that's needed as quickly as possible, but then, of course, for the Ukrainian forces to be able to distribute them to the battlefronts where they're actually needed.
And so, Putin's invasion is being resisted by Ukrainians with Western weapons. It can't be known if that will be enough.
You were listening to the WIN Headline News. Let's recap our top stories.
Positive feedback on Sugar Mass 50. Great projections for the next carnival season.
Police investigating a fatal incident at a ferry terminal. Police investigating death of man at Crab Hill. Internationally, Russian convoy of tanks and military hardware positioned north of Kyiv. Thank you for listening.
That was the WIN FM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till in war with a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-27
469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Found the South 98.9. FM.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
Good afternoon to our many viewers and listeners. Welcome back to the second half of Voices. For those who are still having lunch, we'll have to get me some food after. Anyway, welcome back to the program. And this morning, it was an open line. We had contributions from many, many persons. Let me start by reading something I just got from Ken Clifton. And this relates to the whole Ukraine issue and the folks who are seeking asylum elsewhere. He writes, "It is inhumane, if not criminal, for Polish authorities to prevent Nigerians and other Africans who are fleeing the illegal Russian invasion of the Ukraine from entering Poland." What he's saying that they're preventing Africans, Nigerians, and other Africans from entering Poland amongst the people who are seeking asylum. This would be a violation of the Geneva Convention and international law, and perpetrators should be tried by international courts for crimes against humanity. I saw something of this a couple of days ago, but this is something written by Ken Clifton, and he's actually protesting the fact that that is happening to people who are fleeing an occupied area. And it's being done against Nigerians and other Africans who are fleeing the illegal Russian invasion. It's happening to Syrians and Muslims also? Wow. And Poland was a place where when Hitler invaded back in the, was it 30-something, before they had the Second World War? Wow, it's really, really, really sad. People all around the world are still facing this discrimination at a time when humanity demands that we all do our best for each other. I want to say good afternoon to Judith up there in the UK, to Margaret, she's over in Birmingham, to Chris there in Sheffield, and all the folks who are tuned to the program making the contributions daily. I want to thank you for that. And we go straight to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Hi, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about thou?
I'm back to make my second contribution.
Much
I want to
appreciated.
follow up on the sentiment from the challengers area.
Yes.
A friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the word Bantu, which he used, is not a specific tribal name, but it's a grouping of various tribes, including the Zulus, including those from the Congos, including the Lemba and those people. It has classifications, and Bantu happens to be the largest group classification. Then there's the Hottentot, or the Khoisan. Also, there is what we classify as the Afro-Asiatic. And some of these terms refer to the linguistic. The old term for the Afro-Asiatic used to be the Hamitic Semitic, but that was more a linguistic grouping. That group, the Hamitic Semitic, you'll hear that sentiment, the anti-Semitic. The anti-Semitic is only referred to a linguistic aspect and not ethnic
race
per se.
Mm-hmm.
Understand?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so you have within the Bantu group, though, it have the various people like the Niger Congo speaking, and it ranges from the alphabetical order, like from A to about F, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, somewhere there or more within those groups and where they are concentrating, and their migratory pattern as they migrate further south at some time. And from the origins of that group is, it's a debate to be had by different school of thought as to where they migrated from, like in the Uganda, Zaire, the whole name for the Democratic Republic area by the Lake Nyanza, and some will say in the Cameroon, and they migrated south. And those were disputes to say, well, oh, you guys are Zulus from the Boers, the Dutch Boers. Oh, you Zulus, you are here, you're not from Africa because you migrated to the lands of what we call South Africa today. So we have the rights to be here more than you because you migrated amongst the Hottentots or the Khoisan people and the like. But all those things was found out to be lies. But yes, we do migrate. Because that is our space. It would be good for me to migrate the King from Newtown to Sandy Point as opposed to somebody taking a boat and sailing and coming all the way here.
Sandy Point welcomes you. But hey, what? About 25 years ago, I was conducting a tour. And I was pointing out this area above Virtuals. And I was saying to my guests that Bantu slaves used to live there. That's where they had them camped. Chokdas was on the tour. He says, no, they're not a specific tribe, but it was a language that they spoke. So what you're saying now actually dovetails with that. I was saying it was a specific people or tribe that was called Bantus. He said, no, it was a language spoken because that area used to be called Bantu. Where the siding was below, well, the fortress and that virtual area. And by the way, the phrase New Guinea was coined after the enslaved who brought here from New Guinea. They actually named the Guinea grass because they said on arriving here to St. Kitts, the grass that they made here was identical to what they left in New Guinea in Africa. So they call it Guinea grass. That's how they came.
Right, and that was a swatter area because you have 3 Guineas in south and on the continent on the west.
Yes.
Guinea Conakry and the other 2 Guineas, along with a small island. And the Guinea area is rich. I mean, it's a tropic area, and it's one of those areas to be sought because of it's so mineral rich. But yes, the Bantu is a grouping of ethnicities, different tribes. But they could claim the word Bantu to is Untu. N-T-U is a singular. But yes, the Bantu is the plural of like the people. We are the people.
Okay.
So when someone would have asked me if I'm Israel and so, those names came all long after. And the languages like what we have today, like what they call Hebrew, modern Hebrew, the Yiddish aspect of the Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew is Bantu in its, you know, its composition within its linguistic expression, cognate, you know. So out of all those languages came other languages, but that language is the bedrock of what the Greek and the Latin and so forth is. If you were to go all the way back to, like Mrs. Henry said, we are all one people. Languages that didn't pop up out of the sky. Languages varies because of your ecology. I live in the mountainside, I might have a different dialect from you who live down on the coast. Our Navajo sisters and brothers has a different dialect from us down here. And so your ecology will shape those things about how you express and you practice. So yes, so those are the classifications. The Nilotic people, those in the South Sudan, the tallest, most beautiful women on earth. The Nilotic South Sudan people, the models, they are taking the stage by storm. Their voluptuous shape, their tallness, classify them as the most beautiful people. Their dark pigmentation, their strong melanin, their white teeth and the white eyes. You know, these are the models that the world is starting after to put on the modeling aspect and having the magazine.
The one way is here.
Thanks for listening.
I want to thank you for that, and I want to let you know that there are many people from our listenership who value the information that you bring to the program. Some time ago, there was a person who was hesitant to, well, he claimed that he wanted to voice, be the host of the program. But management were not too encouraged by the tone, this kind of conversation that we're having. They didn't want to have that on their broadcast. And I'm surprised that, I won't say surprised, because what we're doing, we're educating. We are re-educating, and we're edifying a lot of people. So what you bring, somebody may not like it. Some people, they don't want to hear, the African thing again. But many who are really conscious of themselves are really appreciating this information, because it gives us a chance to look at ourselves in a different light, and therefore be encouraged to do more research about our people as always. And we go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, yes, sir.
Afternoon.
It is afternoon, yes.
Yeah. I heard you made a comment there, which is a truism, that when elephants fight, the grass gets trampled.
Yes, only the grass gets trampled when elephant fights. Morning to you, sir. Well, good afternoon. I did send you good morning salutations. I don't know if you got them.
Oh, thank you very much.
There you go.
What I wondered, though, was what prompted this statement. It is true, but did you say it meaning that we should keep out of it, or we should not take sides, or what prompted this statement?
I think it was, we were discussing what's happening in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. In the Ukraine.
Yeah, and how other countries are getting involved, and of the smaller countries, even though we're part of the UN, etc., what's our stance should be, etc. I'm not quite sure, but I was looking at the perspective that we get caught up in other people's battle, not really knowing the causations. And sometimes we take sides based on what we're told. So one has to be careful and don't jump on anybody's boat unless you know where it's going. That's one thing I do. Don't jump on anybody's boat unless you know where it's going. But seriously, only grass gets trampled when the elephant fight.
Well, yes. The thing about that is that's why we need to look at this from a set of principles. Take a principled stand. On principle, no country should invade another sovereign country, just on the face of it.
On the face of it.
Okay? But as we know, things are never as simple as that. Okay? Because if another country feels threatened, it can take preemptive action. Okay? A lot of this, as you said, you know, we need to know the background of it. Don't just look at current press reports, which, you know, all seem to be anti-Russia and so. But there is a story behind that. Okay? NATO was formed essentially to make sure, and it has as its tenets, if you attack any one of the NATO countries, the others can come to your defense. NATO was formed essentially to protect Western Europe
interest
from a powerful Eastern Europe. Now, NATO was formed first, and then the Warsaw Pact was formed in response, basically saying pretty much the same thing. Russia can come to the defense of any Eastern European country that was under attack. Okay? Now, the Warsaw Pact was dismantled in 1991, I think it was, with the
dissolution of
the Soviet Union.
Correct.
But there was no corresponding dissolution of NATO. And I think what has happened...
They didn't have a problem.
Huh?
They didn't have a similar problem or situation.
If they had a similar problem...
NATO wasn't facing the similar challenges.
Bear in mind why NATO was formed. Okay? The Russia was essentially contained after, you know the whole story of Reagan and Gorbachev.
Tear on the wall.
You know, right. Okay? So in other words, and weakened economically as well. You know, that one of the good things Reagan did was beat the Soviet Union in terms of basically he decided to build up his military.
Star Wars.
Overwhelm the Russians.
Star
when
Wars.
the Russians tried to match it, it really destroyed their economy. So Russia was weakened and contained. But what I think happened is that NATO tried to take advantage of the weakness in Russia, right? And were pushing to expand westward. And of course, that would threaten Russia. Okay? Why didn't they just leave things as they were? Okay, Russia is contained, no longer a threat, can't threaten them economically. Just leave things as it was, as opposed to trying to expand westward.
Because
as soon as you start having like military exercises on the borders of Russia and troops in countries bordering Russia and those kinds of things, obviously Russia is going to feel threatened.
Because in spite of the treaties signed to stop the arms race, they have all been secretly building their armaments. It's a matter of playing global chess, positioning around the globe in that theater where you can find a strategic advantage. That's all it's all about.
But then if that's what it's all about, can you blame Russia for doing the same thing?
No, what I'm saying, the causations is what we're talking about. You speak about what's being reported in the media currently, but it's the story behind the story.
But, you know, and that's why I say, what should have happened was stalemate. You know, let things remain as
They tried that, the Cold War, but still, each are building a nuclear potential to be uttered. Is the race is still on? Remember the Star Wars
thing? They have that. They can destroy the whole world 10 times or more.
The MAD agreement, mutually assured agreement, and that what contains them, but they're still trying to out-strategize each other.
Right. Okay. So in that kind of atmosphere, environment, therefore, we, I think, should just take a position on the matter of principle that you can't have larger countries invading smaller ones. I mean, that's looking at it from a strictly self-interest point of view. I mean, because we are no match for practically virtually any other country in the world because we're among the smallest. Okay?
That's where you quote the song by Black Stalin.
That we can't have it that simply might is right because you're bigger and have a bigger army than me. You can just run over me. If that is going to be the new world order, we're in serious trouble.
Have you ever listened to the song by Black Stalin?
Of self-interest. That is the position that we should take. However, at the same time, we should realize this for what it is. Hegemony of the big powers. And in the case of this, Abba no better than Saba. And they might mutter all kinds of things about democracy and that kind of thing. That is a smoke screen.
Did you hear what you asked me when you started the program? When you came on?
Where you were coming from?
Yes. Only the grass get trampled when elephants fight. Now, have you ever listened to Ism Schism by Black Stalin?
Yes.
Isn't it the same as who was saying? Unless you have a nuclear weapon, unless you have a nuclear weapon to defend your position. You can't say nothing.
Right. Except that there are some countries who manage to thrive in that environment without nuclear weapons. Okay?
Cuba?
By taking essentially a non-aligned foreign policy, making sure they support the United Nations Charter, and don't get involved in those kinds of fights, even though sometimes we can't avoid them. I mean, you know the kind of pressure, for instance, Big Brother to the North put on these smaller territories down here just to get their way, whether it be with Cuba or Venezuela. You know that, okay?
Okay.
But we can navigate a fine line, walk a thin line between
diplomacy,
the big powers, so that we don't get trampled.
Diplomacy?
I think that's the point I'm making. Okay, it might be walking on glass, but you know we have to do it. Okay.
You remember the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Otherwise, sovereignty don't mean nothing. Why are we saying we're independent when any big country can just railroad us?
And we have to tailor our response to be diplomatic. But I was saying, do you remember the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Right.
Do you see any similarities between what's happening now in the Ukraine with Russia than what happened in the Caribbean?
Well, the big difference is the Americans then had overwhelming superiority in nuclear weapons than Russia did. Any one of them who try that now, you know, the outcome may not be the same.
And so...
Now, when you outgun somebody, when you have thousands more missiles than the other country, which might just have dozens, you know, it's still skewed. The outcome is assured.
And thus the rationale of the Americans in trying to do whatever they can to contain Russia geographically and strategically. That is all about.
But that's the whole point. They were contained without having to push them further. That is my point, right? And you know, everybody speak of the Russian, not the Russian, the Ukrainian president as being this hero, etc., for standing up. Yeah, you can have all the bravado you want. Yes, the press and so on.
Gotta give him credit.
Side, world opinion on your side.
Got to give him credit.
But at some point, he has to wonder, did I do the right thing?
Well,
this was the suffering of my people. Couldn't I have negotiated something better with Russia?
You don't negotiate with
to
Putin.
avoid the war?
You do not.
Right? Because in a war, there are very few wars that are worth the sacrifice in blood and treasure.
Principle.
You might win. You might win one. You might win a war, but it's a period.
I stand with him. I stand with him.
At too big a cost.
I stand with him.
Most wars end up being the precursor to other wars in the future.
I stand with him. I love his stance, his posture, and he's a hero. Even though he was a young, I stand with him.
You see? And that is the problem to it, because we ordinary people are culpable in this.
I am a Nat Turner.
Because here you are now saying, I stand with him.
I respect, I would have done the same thing. I'm going to stand and fight.
Even though his policies, but listen, even though his policies may be responsible for all the suffering of his people.
No. His policies were not provoking Russia. His policies were not provoking Russia. They did not provoke this.
It wasn't?
Of course not.
He is right on the doorstep of Russia and fraternizing. Not saying he shouldn't have good relations with them.
He's fraternizing?
But fraternizing with them, basically, as somebody put it, poking the beer.
I love you so much. I see.
So what I'm saying, at some point, he might feel good and no, but at some point he's going to have to ask himself, wasn't there a better approach to this that would have avoided
You
war?
prefer that he be dictated to? Is that what you're saying?
Not dictated, but that's what I'm saying. Was he dictated to before the war?
You say he fraternizing, yes, because they invaded Belarus. They put things in Belarus and the other two areas that invaded. We have Russian separatists fighting there.
Was Russia dictating to him?
I don't have all the answers. I won't pretend to know.
No. Right? Russia, they had this Cold War, so to speak, in a small part of Ukraine which was pro-Russia, I think. And they'd always have these little squabbles, right? But in terms of the geopolitics of it and European security, right? Russia was contained. Why go and rock the boat and
Putin want to invent the Soviet Union as much as possible. That is his big thing. He's not happy that he fell apart.
He knows that can't happen.
But he's taking baby steps, incremental steps. If he's
Why didn't NATO disband after the Warsaw Pact, or alternatively invite Russia to be part of the part of NATO?
Other global threats would re-emerge.
That would have, I think, make sure that all of Europe had security. But no, they had to push. They couldn't resist pushing. They have it contained in a box, but they must now squeeze the box.
This is called Voices, and I love it.
I agree Putin is a dictator and a despot and all of that, right? But
consumed with former glory, and he wants to reinvent the Soviet Union.
Right, that is a narrative. That is a narrative. But I think above all, Putin is a realist. He knows that can't happen again. It cannot happen again.
Okay.
Poland there's no more East Germany. Germany is reunited.
We have to take another call.
So it can't happen.
Okay, we have to take another call.
In the box. Let the Russian people deal with him as they eventually would have anyway.
Okay.
Right? Just make sure he don't engage in no adventurism, like coming over to Venezuela.
That's wishful thinking.
To poke at
They're there already.
Huh?
They're there already.
They're already with what? 2 planes?
The Russians already went to Venezuela.
No, man, that's being alarmist now.
No. They went there. What, about 18 months ago?
Yeah.
When they discovered oil, they went there to stay the interests. You must be aware of this.
So what's wrong with that?
No, you say you hope they don't go there. You're saying you hope they don't go there. I am telling you.
Economics, that's economics. We're talking here
so you're accepting it.
about war.
But yes, it relates to that because it's about controlling.
Kettle of fish. There's nothing wrong with global competition in economics.
My friend.
They compete with China all the time.
Right.
And don't make noise.
If we ever
They
discoil...
make noise, but not the kind of noise, not kind of saber rattling that's going on now in Eastern
And this
Europe.
call there? Okay, we have to take the next
Yeah,
call, please. We have to
okay.
take this call. Well, thank you very much. Caller, thanks for holding your 11 voices.
King,
Sir.
do you know the Congresswoman for California, Miss Maxine Waters?
You know what's funny?
Huh?
I have a card in my vehicle I found about 5 days ago. I'm wondering who gave me this card. I have a card, one of the cards, business card in my vehicle. And I'm wondering who gave me, how to come with. But that's a different story. But go ahead.
Maxine Waters, whenever she's in Parliament, she always asks the Speaker she would say something like, reclaiming my time.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to reclaim my time.
You had time? Yeah, I didn't give you no time.
Um,
I normally give you 5 minutes, and when you go beyond the call, there's no other caller.
I just want to say this. The caller, my persistent responder, now I've stated, and you have corrected me, and let me say to the gentleman who keep saying that I say it's fake news.
Oh.
I apologize for fake news, poor choice of words on my part. To the gentleman, the responder, I'm apologizing to him.
Okay.
For poor choice of words. It's a distraction.
The
same way that he keep bringing it back, or should I say throwing it back at me, I would like to hear his take on what I am saying, that Africa is the future. And I am saying that we have a saying in our politics here when our former Prime Minister was hot in the airwaves. There are people who used to call and say, oh, if Dougie is the problem, he cannot be the solution. Those who have mastered the art of killing, the art of war, they are the problem of the unity of the world today. So I am saying, now we are aware of what is happening in Africa. Most of us now don't know, and I'm talking about, some lewd group of Africans like Boko Haram, who receive ammunition from foreign power that goes to go and kill your own people. We are aware of this, that is happening within our people. But let us look beyond, because here we have foreign powers have satellites over the continent that can pinpoint our natural resources, and then Boko Haram are given arms and say, go and kill. And so those who are going to say, if someone put a gun in my hand and say, go kill my brother and sister, would I do that, or would I kill who gives me the guns? We need to raise our level. We need to raise our level. So I am saying, I did say that, it is fake news. So I am saying to the caller, again, I apologize, poor choice of words on my part. And you have corrected that. Because it is distraction. The West knows that Africa is the future. And, you mentioned something about the elephant, then elephant fight.
Only the grass gets trampled when elephant fights.
Let us look beyond this now, the king. Russia had never invaded Africa. All the other superpowers have.
What?
They cut up our continent. Now, Russia have military troops on Africa. All of them have military troops on Africa. Why are they there? Are they there to protect Africans? No. They are there for the raw material, the raw minerals that is there. Now, I am saying that Russia and China backed Mali for kicking out France. France and another African leader have welcomed France after Mali kicked out France. So you see how gullible we are as a people? And I am not saying that Russia, even though Russia may have backed Mali along with China of getting rid of France out of Mali, we are not saying that we're going to get rid of one colonial master for
It
another.
served the economic interest. It
Yeah,
wasn't
many
to
ways we can look
assist
at this,
us.
the king, because while we don't want to get rid of one master for another, the enemy of my enemy can be my friend. We can just be spectators now, because, like I said, they have mastered the art of killing, the art of war. So let us just observe what is happening and look for the bigger picture. The enemy of my enemy can be my friend. Russia might be the one to liberate the continent of Africa. Now we're saying that we have to not allow another 1884 when they carved up the continent without any African
Say
being there.
again, you say Russia might be the one to liberate what? Who?
the king, listen, I'm saying a whole lot of things. I want our people to just listen and read what I'm saying. Because we don't have any guns to fire. We have no shots to fire. That is clear. All of them who have their nuclear trigger and their ammunition, we don't have any shots to fire. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you advocate the collective unity, the freedom of our own selves. We have to do that. So to say that
alone can cripple everything because, like I said, if Dougie is the problem, he cannot be the solution. The art of war being
none of those Avengers has any interest
of war. We are not warlike people. So we are the solution to all of this in unity. And then the outside will have to come to the table for the minerals that they need with a different mindset, that all should benefit from our inheritance. This is the message I'm trying to put across the king.
Got you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. We pause now for a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back and continue with the debate.
Get your property properly covered today. Constructing your dream house or considering renovating your property? We will make sure your property is properly covered at Guardian General Insurance. Yes, at Guardian General Insurance, we will ensure that your property is properly covered with our private dwelling and contractors all-risk promotion. Visit or call us today and get affordable rates, premium financing arrangements from now until March 31st, 2022. We will properly cover fire, lightning, explosion, thunderbolt, bursting or overflowing of water tanks and apparatus pipes, burglary, theft or larceny, impact by road vehicle, riot, strike or malicious damage, hurricane, earthquake or volcanic eruption, flood, collapse due to subsidence of landslip, loss of rent, cost of temporary accommodation, and much more. So get your property properly covered at SL Horsford and Company Limited, local agents for Guardian General Insurance today. Special terms and conditions apply. Call today at 869-465-9355 for further details.
Loving today's debate. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Voices. You're logged on to WINNFM 98.9. And it's the last day of February as we still observe Black History Month. Most of the conversation has been geared that way. We speak about the wars and the events unfolding in the Ukraine. And our last caller spoke about Russia. Okay, interaction with Africa. We will take this call and get back to that subject. Good day, caller, live on Voices.
Good day, Socrates.
Good day, sir.
Greetings in the name of Jesus Christ, the only Savior of sinners from heaven from hell and from their sins, and the second person of the eternal Trinity.
Welcome to the program.
The most blessed person. Yes, greetings. Yes. First of all, when it comes to war, there is a saying: the first casualty of war is always the truth.
Correct.
Truth is always the first casualty of war.
I like where you're going.
Yes. That's number one. Number two, I've heard a stat. Just recently, I've heard a stat. Since the ending of the Cold War, America has invaded and toppled the governments of over 50 countries. Russia has not done that. Well, maybe if this is an invasion.
They have done that.
Maybe this Ukraine thing is an invasion. Maybe you could consider it to be the first one.
No, it's not the first one. It's not the first one. It's your call. It's not the first one. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, that's the start I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is that when it comes to Ukraine, this Ukraine thing is really about Germany and the Nord Stream pipeline. That is what, and trying to prevent Russia from integrating into Europe. That is what this Ukraine thing is really all about. America don't really care about the Ukraine people. It's the Nord Stream pipeline with Germany and also trying to prevent Russia from integrating into Europe. That is what America is really stirring up all of this confusion and nonsense and war. This is the end goal of America. They could care two kicks about the
the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians, them is just a convenient end, a means to the end.
Okay. So
yeah.
is it just America's agenda? What about the rest of Europe that's siding with Eastern Europe?
No,
Western Europe.
It is America. It is America's agenda, but they're using Europe. They're using NATO to accomplish their agenda. Because if Russia, because of the Nord Stream pipeline, become more integrated with Europe because of Germany, then what happened that they will be looking less and less towards America and more towards Russia for their energy sources, for trade and that sort of stuff. And the more people trade with each other, is the cozier they become with each other, which the Nord Stream pipeline would do. And not only Europe, but with also Asia. It will bring Russia into closer contact with trade and that sort of stuff with Asia as well, through the Nord Stream pipeline. That is why, at one point, by Trump and Congress, they put sanctions on it and the Nord Stream pipeline to try to disable it. But when Biden went in, because the pressure was so much against the sanction, and the Germans, people was so much against the sanctions on the Nord Stream, Biden ended. But they did not get rid of their agenda to bring division between Germany and Europe by extension with Russia. That agenda never went off the table. It was always on the table, just like they finished the sanction, because the sanctions were very, very unpopular and actually doing the opposite of what they wanted to do. This thing is more complex than a lot of people realize. And America is the one who is really hyping up this thing for their end. And they have to make Putin look like the devil and America look like the angel, when actually the truth is more the other way around.
Oh, I see.
Hello, and not only that, since twice the Ukrainians have elected people who were closer to Russia, who are believing in having trade and so with Russia, and America toppled them and drove them out of government in Ukraine.
Can you give an example?
Hello?
Can you give an example?
No, the last one was in 2014. I forgot the name of the revolution, and I think the one before that was 2004, 2005. I think that what they call it, the Orange Purple Revolution, something like that. And then in 2014, when they elected another person who was more friendly toward Russia, Americans, people like John McCain and this other lady, I forget the lady name, they were even in Ukraine handing out all kind of stuff, food, all kind of stuff to the people to encourage them in their rebellion and in their revolt against the elected leader.
We may have lost Gregory. We apologize for that. It was not intentional. So if you get a chance to call back, we would love to hear the end of what you were saying. We apologize for that. So, okay, there is a call. Is that Gregory? Hello there. 11 Voices.
Greetings, blessed. No, this is not Gregory.
Okay, we lost him because he wasn't called, so I was trying to get him back in on the line. So go ahead, please.
You call again there, you know? Yeah. Sakoti, you know, we see this war, right, with Russia, and, you know, why you see like he upsetting to me, right? He's the kind of president that's setting, eh? If Russia can just go and take back up Ukraine because it was a part of the Soviet Union.
That is correct.
Then China could just go and take back up Taiwan.
That is correct.
Whoever else going to take back up wherever, you know what I mean? So the president is what I and I watching forward. But still, I don't really want to go too much deep, you know, Babylon thing, right? No, that was just in passing. No, what I really want to talk about is Rastafari. See? No, 2019, when we get COVID, was really 2012 in Ethiopia.
Different calendar, yeah.
Now, according to the mayors, they say 2012, the whole will come to an end, right? And as far as I see, the whole done, you know, because from 2019 till now, and we can't see how this is going to straighten out anytime soon, right? So, there must be some other way that, you know, we can live. Because if this modern world, right, this modern world, right, we know of how we begin and how we expand, you know, because, you know, it come out of ancient Rome, right? Rome, written in the Bible that about the city upon 7 hills, which is Rome, right? The city upon 7 hills is Rome.
I'm not that versed in the Bible, so I'm listening.
No, but I guess if you Google city upon 7 hills, in the Bible it is termed as the city upon 7 hills, right?
Okay.
But I think if you Google it, you will tell you it's Rome they're talking about, right?
Okay.
So Rome was a part of the whole ancient order of Christ, of the honoring of the Almighty, right? And then after 130 years, they turn away and they pervert the way. You read that in Romans chapter 1, that they change the truth of God into a lie, right? When Paul writes to the Romans, right? So that there is also documented in the Bible. Now, we also see and we also learn through history, right, how this modern world encroach upon the ancient world. You know what I mean? Through the settlers and through the discoverers, Christopher Columbus and Francis Drake and all these people here come out here and discover these islands with people and kill all the people.
Discover? They came and discovered?
That is what they teach in school, to discover. You know, and then they kill all the people and who they meet and they take the land them. You know? And then they bring we out here, right? Because when they take we from Africa, Africa wasn't divided up into island countries, you know. Africa was one land. You know, different kingdom here and there, but one land. You know what I mean? Not different countries, they call them, and divided up, you know, in 1884, right?
And divorced Egypt from Africa.
Yeah?
They divorced Egypt from Africa.
Yeah, you understand? And all Palestine, because Palestine is a part of Africa too, you know. And then man brought us out here to expand, you know, their world, which today going to what we call the new world, you know, the modern world, right? This modern world is 7 years ahead of the real time. And everything in it and everything they teach us is a lie. You know what I mean? Everything, just check out everything we've been taught up to this day is a lie. You know what I mean? For example, they tell us we live on a globe going to space and all these kind of thing, and you know what I mean? The sun is this amount of miles away here, and nobody ever gonna measure it, but they know all of these things, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of lies the world belong. They went on the moon and
I hear you,
check it out, not go so.
I hear you.
There's a lot of lies this world is built on, right? So it's a false world, it's a false empire the man God's living, you know. So basically, we have to now determine something real for we, right? Which is, I don't see nothing realer than Rastafari. Because one, Rastafari teach us how to eat properly. Right?
Okay, wrap me up in 60 seconds. Wrap me up in 60 seconds. Go ahead.
Rastafari, His Majesty is the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. You know, even though everybody talking about God only His Majesty will come forward to help humanity. To stop there. Give thanks.
Much respect, much respect. So always good to have the Rastafarian perspective in our debates, because back in the early 70s, you wouldn't even have thought about theater and so on. You couldn't be arrested in St. Kitts. They'd arrest you, cut off your locks, and take you to prison and make you eat pork. You know, I mean, just to be on 4th Street. And the message they brought then still resonates now. Better relation, better eating, you know what I mean? Let's take this call. Call 11 voices.
Hi, good day, King.
Good day, sir.
In the last 100 years, war has always been about two things: economics and power.
Politics and religion?
And what? Economics and power.
Economics and power. Go ahead.
In today.
I think maybe a problem with your line.
In doing this in the last 100 years. They
Sir.
have been going into countries, invading them, only on the false pretext, such as terrorists, Saddam being a boogeyman, he killing his people, when really and truly it was about the oil in Afghanistan, it was about the opium. It's always about money. They just try to use a noble cause to justify their actions. And one of the things that Brother Malcolm X said long time ago, and just paraphrasing it, he said, the media will have you hating the angel and loving the devil.
That is true.
And that's exactly what has been happening. We have seen campaigns of mass deception.
Sir, hello there. Hello, can you hear me? Hello there. Sir, may I blast a call? Okay. I'm not sure if you're still online. If you can hear me, you're making a very good contribution, but the quality of your call it was suffered. Okay, sir, if you're listening, you were making a great contribution, but the quality of your call was dropping off. We were not hearing you clearly. So if you get a chance to call back, we got about 15 minutes before we shut down things today. You can call back again from a different location and make your contribution. We'll be much appreciated. You know what I mean? Thank you very much for that. Where was I now? I recall back in the mid-90s watching the OJ trial. And when Marsha Clark, she was the prosecutor, came up and she made a presentation. OJ was guilty. He's guilty. Nailed it to the cross. And then came Johnny Cochran and made his case. The man innocent. The power of persuasion. Right? And as Goebbels says, he who controls the minds of the masses wins the day. Once he can control the mind of the masses. So it depends on who presents the better narrative. Once you can capture the people, it's like the Pied Piper, he leads you anywhere. So again, Mr. McMahon, only the grass gets trampled when the elephant fights. Causation, and if you can understand it and you're better informed to support whatever narrative, well, you're better poised. But most of us, we just follow. We're followers. And yes, let's pause for a break at this point and come back.
Horswood's Building and Nevis Centers continues to make your lawn and gardening easy. Go to Horswood's Building and Nevis Center now and get 25% off store-wide on the entire lawn and garden equipment. Yes, for the months of February and March, Horswood's Building Center and Nevis Center is making improving your lawn and garden easy with 25% off garden supplies, garden equipment, garden accessories, including weed eaters, lawnmowers, and much more. Get 25% off all lawn and garden items happening now at Horswood's Building Center in St. Kitts and Nevis. Horswood's Building and Nevis Centers, making home improvement easy. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA Value Club Blue Tag Specials from February 24th until March 9th. Essential Everyday Cranberry Juice Cocktails, $8.99. Lay's Stack Chips, $5.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Chunk and Shredded Cheeses, $7.99. Bird's Eye Steamed Fresh Vegetables, $5.99. Hot Pockets, $13.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Salad Dressings, $7.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals.
Gracias, Joanne. IGA or Essential Everyday Canned Fruits, $7.99. Multi-meal cereals, $12.99. Euros Pasta, $5.99. Stonewich Ice Cream, $18.99. Quaker Oatmeal Quick and Regular, $13.99. Gain Dish Liquid Soap, $6.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Joanne, in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Once again, good afternoon. Welcome back to the program. It's Voices. It's called Voices We've got about 9 minutes before close of play today. I want to try an experiment. Can anybody call me and give me something positive happening within St. Kitts and Nevis? We've covered the globe. We covered the Ukraine, Europe, and all that's happening. Give me something positive. Or your opinion of what's going on in St. Kitts and Nevis. Somebody call and talk to me. You know, we've covered up there what's going on up there. We didn't have any particular topic today, but we covered a lot. So, can anybody call me within the next 10 minutes or so and give me something positive, uplifting, happening with the people, our young people, those in sports, those in school, what's going on in St. Kitts on the ground? So the folks up there who are not here, you know, Kittitian divisions, can get some idea of what's going on in St. Kitts. You know what I mean? We often talk about what's happening up there. We touch on Haiti a lot around the region. But St. Kitts is still a very beautiful place. And we have nationals out there wondering, what's going on back home? We've heard about this. And for those who are in bereavement because of death of a loved one or not, we stand, we sympathize with you. For those celebrating birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, etc., we go to the phone line and see what we got. Good day, caller, you live on Voices. Good afternoon.
I want to miss a word from you.
Russ,
Yes,
respect to you. How are you doing, sir? So, well, the Aya. How the Aya doing?
I am pricelessly blessed.
Understand.
Pricelessly blessed. We are in the land of the living.
Definitely.
Good health, strength, etc., etc. Okay. We just called to give thanks for the organizers of the groundation, the Black Conscious Groundation that took place yesterday at the Zion Memorial Church in Bastille.
Splendid.
The team looked back to move ahead. It was a very, very conscious groundation. Not fully attended, but one is like 10,000 when it comes to consciousness.
Yes.
To give thanks again to the organizers and to implore all whom it may concern to have more of these kind of groundation.
Positive.
We are a people that have been through a lot. Much too much to mention. And what we've been through have not all been a pretty journey. But here we are. As Bob Marley sing, even with his brown complexion, we are the black survivors. And we want to give thanks for our ancestors who paved the way for I and I, so that we can now say, we are our ancestors, and our ancestors are us.
Okay. Here's what. For the folks who weren't there, because I was supposed to be there, I was invited by Mr. Blake, but I had a prior engagement. Tell us what happened, what transpired, what was the ceremony all about, please?
We saw your name on the program for you.
Yes.
Okay, we started with the national anthem of St. Kitts Nevis, and go into prayer, opening comments by Michael Blake, and we had poetry from the WAHS students. We also had poetry from Brother Lachlan Tatum, also from Sandra Keynes. We had songs from Jermaine James. We had poetry from Carl Astafan. We had poetry from Michael Blake. And we had items from the Nyabingiti Akwasi Order, chanting and poetry. We had poetry from Heather Archibald, who was one of the main organizers, along with Michael Blake. We had, well, no, you wasn't there, but we were supposed to have a shot by You was missing in action, but your presence was felt ironically.
Much appreciated.
Yes, we had poetry from Romain Belgo. I don't even remember if he was there. But we had song from Larry Warren, beautiful singing. We had poetry from BHSS students. We had poetry from Sister Heather Archibald, who happens to be the princess of Elder Washington Archibald.
Ivy.
We had we were supposed to have theoretical performance by New Age, but one person showed up and it was beautiful. Anyhow,
All right.
we had Alamalu
Alamolu, yeah.
giving us a ireful item, liveling up the place. We had Crichton
Pension.
who said a pension, liveling up the place again. We had song from Tracy Herbert, and we had song by the Gathering Lean on Me, and giving comments on vote of thanks.
Positive.
It was an Isleful event. Isleful Foundation. Give thanks once again to the organizers.
I'm happy to hear that. I call for something positive, about what happened in St. Nevis, and this is just so ideal. It was on the 27th of
we are
February.
in need of healing as a people, but we also are in dire need of attaining what we were once. We are a great and mighty nation, and we need to get forward to that state ASAP. Blessed love.
Blessed love. I was asked by Mr. Blake to appear in the program, and I said yes, but there was something I'd asked somebody to come to my home to address, and I'd forgotten, so I had to call and apologize. He says, even if you come about 8 o'clock, but I just couldn't make it. So, Mr. Blake, I tried, I apologize, but I was just told by that gentleman, he don't want to call it gentleman, but us, okay, that it was a wonderfully program, not really that much attended, but vibes. Okay, we pause for a call, the last call perhaps. Call 11 Voices, you got about 3 minutes.
Hi, good day.
My Bonnie lies over the ocean.
You said not to discuss Russia, but can I just add a little bit about it?
Okay, your clock is ticking. Go ahead.
Before I do that, and then I'll say something about St. Kitts. The Soviet Union, as you know, well, after World War One, they were grabbing a lot of lands, and to me, they were a little bit greedy. Russia fought on the side of the same people who belong to the NATO allies, or once like, allies, buddies. But I find that Russia wanted all these lands in Eastern Europe, lands that stretch from Europe all the way into Asia, such that Churchill called it an iron wall. I mean, but of course, yeah. And after the dismantling of the Soviet Union, each of these countries, they call them satellite countries because they're so closely connected to Russia. But each of them became independent countries, but the KGB, which Putin belonged to, they're still having this desire that they want back these countries, or still feeling that they're connected to them in some way. Hence, now that Ukraine wants to join NATO, they feel that it's somewhat a betrayal, or they're losing. Although they don't have them anymore, they're independent. They're feeling that they're losing them somehow. But anyway, hence the war, and now this has serious implications, as you mentioned, for our country. High gas, the price is already skyrocketed because of COVID, and now we have, this war. It's, it seems like dismal, but there's always happiness, there's always joy. When I tune into my service this weekend, I realize how very weak and in need I am of Christ because of my own sinfulness, but thank God that He has, as I'm a Christian, that He has died for my sins. Apart from that, St. Kitts is a beautiful place. I mean, people give so kindly. You yourself, Socrates, when I told you of my own need that I needed, to create a calypso and to work with me, I asked you what's the price, and what you told me.
I forgot. I forgot.
Did you charge me?
No.
You said nothing.
I share.
He said nothing. I think he said, to do something positive. And that's the attitude. You know how many people have given me a piece of pumpkin and potato and even fish. I buy
Instant gets?
fried, they give me extras. I buy a pot fish, they give me extras. And it's just a beautiful thing. By the way, during the pandemic, I mean, when you do go, was one time, I'll tell you, so one time a lady needed some money, and she wanted to negotiate so I can give her cash. I said, don't give me anything. You keep. Here's the cash that you need. Hold that. And then she said, I wanted to pray for you. And she prayed for me. And later on, I've never seen so many people give me stuff. They said, take this $20. I mean, I've gotten almost close to like $100. Hello?
We could not have ended on a better note than this. We are out of time. Your timing was perfect. It's very, very positive. We spoke about Russia, but St. Kitts, at the end of the day, St. Kitts Nevis is such a beautiful place in terms of the topography, the geography, and the people. We're there. Thank you very much.
Yes. Beautiful
yes,
place.
we're blessed. It's our slice of paradise. Hopefully on Wednesday, I'll be back to continue similar debates. So in the meantime, peace, love, and stay safe.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of it. Bye. Oh, yes. I thought we were right. We want to thank all the callers and viewers for joining us in today's program and the others. And, this cannot be possible without you. So we do appreciate your call, your contribution. For those who just send your comments via text or whatever, thank you very much. And until Wednesday, stay in God's beautiful grace. Bye now.